A Baltimore police detective gunned down and killed just one day before he was supposed to testify before a grand jury about corruption within the police department. Happened just over 2 weeks ago. Detective Sean Suter was shot with his own gun after approaching a suspicious man in an empty parking lot. Now, the police commissioner wants the FBI to lead the investigation into what happened.
I am growing increasingly uncomfortable that my homicide detectives do not know all of the facts known to the FBI or the U.S. Attorney's Office that could, if revealed to us, assist in furthering this murder investigation.
With me now is Billy Murphy. He represented Freddie Gray's family. Gray died in 2015 while he was in police custody in Baltimore. Thank you so much, sir, for being with me.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. This case is so disturbing. And when you listen to the police commissioner, he says he doesn't trust his own homicide investigators have the right information to proceed with the case. What does he mean?
It's difficult to say because he went out on a limb, I think ill-advisedly, with a theory of what had happened in this case, only to be thwarted by the subsequent developments that are casting a great deal of suspicion on his own department. It's a tragic set of circumstances that caused this unfortunate death of this really good man. And we're trying to get to the bottom of it. There are all kinds of theories out there about what happened. Some believe that it was an inside job, that he was killed by a fellow officer. Others believe the party line that it was a stranger with no axe to grind. But obviously, there are problems in this investigation, and I support his bringing the FBI in. It's about time.
So you know, there's so many facets to this strange case. So there were Baltimore police detectives who were planting drugs on suspects, right?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
And that's the tip of a very large iceberg.
So tell us more about that, because that could be connected to this case.
Well, this is part of the pattern and practice that the Justice Department's report revealed. And there is a silver lining to all of this misconduct, and that is that we now have a monitor of the police, Ken Thompson, who's a veteran in the law enforcement area, and he's backed by a big, very prestigious law firm and with experts that are nationally recognized, so that we can start to reform this police department PDQ. And we also have an excellent city solicitor that the mayor hired, former federal judge Andre Davis, who is no stranger to controversies of various kinds, none caused by him, I might add, that require a great deal of brain power. So the pieces are finally in place for us to monitor this police department. But Carol, the real problem is the homicide rate in Baltimore, and that problem is caused in part by the collapse of cooperation between the black community and the police department, starting with former Governor Martin O'Malley, who was mayor of Baltimore, when there were many, many thousands of black people who were arrested without probable cause or without any cause at all. And this substantially eroded the relationship between the police department and the citizens. And then there was the Freddie Gray incident, which made things much worse. And homicides are usually solved by informants who are members of the community, who feel free to share their information about what happened, who saw what, when, and how. But these networks have largely dried up because of the extraordinary distrust between the police and the Baltimore black community.
I still have many friends who live in Baltimore. I still own a home in Baltimore, and I've heard not only the homicide rate is up, I think there were 319 murders this year, correct? Something like that.
Yes, and it's alarming. And the mayor has yet to come out with a comprehensive crime program.
It's frightening for people who live in the city right now because other sorts of crimes are up as well.
Well, we have two things happening. We have real outrage in the black community about how it has been policed over the past many, many years, and we have a demoralized police force. And something has to be done. Something very, very significant has to be done to bring the Baltimore City Police Department back to life, even if it means mass changes in personnel. Remember, Camden had a problem similar to Baltimore, and they took the radical step of essentially replacing its police department with fresh blood. And the results have been dramatically positive because the new police that they brought in reflected the values of the community and were members of the community. And when you have a police department that is historically disconnected from the community that it polices, you have problems. And we have to remember that originally we were patrolled by foot patrolmen who got to know the community. They knew who the bad actors were. They knew the good people from the bad people. And they had full cooperation from the neighborhoods. But when we went to motorized squad cars, all that changed. And the police became incredibly less intimately involved in the day-to-day affairs of the community that they police. So we have to solve those problems.
Most definitely, because Baltimore is a wonderful city. Billy Murphy, thank you so much. I'll be right back.
Thank you, Carol.